Good morning. We're back at our IM studios, and glad for you guys that are watching this, or you may hop on here in a little bit. We're Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and giving you guys a little bit of value. We do this every Tuesday, and we let you guys into one of our classes and be able to see what we're doing here. And we do this on purpose. We want to help people, and we're doing it globally. Every week we're having classes, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time in English, and we're also doing it in Spanish at 7. And we're giving you guys live footage, information directed towards teaching you how to live a happy, healthy, wealthy life, and getting you to better understand yourself. Many years in research and development of myself, I was changing, and I wanted to be able to give that back and give that back into my own companies, be able to invest in our own people within our own companies. So we ended up bringing the personal development into the center of our companies so we can help improve the life of ourselves and others around us. This month, we're teaching decisions, and what does a decision mean? How can a decision change your whole life in a millisecond? How can one decision change everything in your whole life? Completely redirect you off into another course, another history. How I can do just that. I made a decision many years ago to alter my paradigm, alter my way of thinking, and it's brought me to where I'm at today. Businesses, wealth, money, all those things are results. They're a byproduct of the study and the research that I was doing on myself. Personal development it's personal, and it's an individualized experience. And that's also why very few people experience a different lifestyle, a different way of living. Not because they can't do more, but they don't choose to do more. Personal development it's widely spread out, but there's not a lot of people truly doing it. And if you're truly not working on yourself, you're not going to get any. There will be no change. You will not get another result, and life will stay much the same. You've got to bet on yourself, and by betting on yourself, you can determine a new reality. Because you're the center of your own being, you're the only one that can change you. I'm going to read a little bit out of Decisions, The Mastery of Procrastination. This is out of Think and Grow Rich. Accurate analysis of over 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure disclosed the fact that lack of decision was near the head of the list of 30 major causes of failure. This is no mere statement of a theory, it's a fact. Procrastination, which is the opposite of decision, is a common enemy which practically every man must conquer. You will have an opportunity to test your capacity to reach quick and definite decisions when you finish reading this book and are ready to begin putting into action the principles in which the principles are described. So it's not just about reading, it's about applying what you're reading. Let's go back to a decision and how decision-making sets up a different chain, a different course of action-reaction. In a millisecond, you can change the directive of your life. But in the making of a decision, you're actually at advanced decision-making. The word decision means to take yourself from one form to the next, to take an idea from the abstract to the concrete. A decision means you are advanced deciding. You're imagining into the future, and you are altering your state of being. You're interrupting the previous way of thinking, the previous way of doing things. So a decision alters you. And by distinction of altering you to interrupt yourself, to interrupt your day, to interrupt your way of doing things, and then alter that, sets you on a new course of history, a new chain of events. Now, the opposite of decision-making is procrastination. So if you don't make decisions, that is a decision. But the indecision is setting up a chain of events as well. So either way, we are unfolding reality. A lot of people think, well, life is happening to me. That's the victim's mentality. Life never happens to you. It's happening for you. You just don't understand it. So if it's happening for you, then it's happening for your decision-making or the undecisiveness and the indecisions. Either way, you're creating it. Now let's look at the way the average person thinks. Not that it's bad, it's normal. We were conditioned to think in this way. Not that we can do more, but we've been conditioned not to do more. You will have an opportunity to test your capacity to make quick and definite decisions. You always have that opportunity. It was always here. But now you're reading a book and you're getting an understanding. At the end of this session, you'll have the opportunity to check yourself, how you apply decision-making. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. So that means immediately they would make a decision whether they wanted to do something or not. If they saw an opportunity, they reviewed an opportunity immediately, they would make the decision and take actions immediately. If it's going in the direction of their goal or their vision, these are the people that get out and make things happen. These are the people that get up and pave the way. If there's no pavement, no road, they'll make it. They'll clear the forest. And then other people follow them. Why? Because they're decisive and they know what they want. And they will rarely change the decision and change their decision slowly. So as they advance, they're moving in the direction of their what? The opportunity they saw in their mind first. Decision causes you to go into your imagination and see the unseen world, to build a dream, to build a vision in the unseen. So this decision-making puts you directly in alignment with your vision. Not only to build it and construct it, but to devise a plan around it and move towards it. Now, let's look at the other way of doing things. People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing these decisions quickly and often. So that means they never really made a decision. They hop from one thing to the next, from one thing to the next, from one thing to the next, because they never really stick to the decision they made in the first place. Why would somebody not really stick to the decision they made in the first place? Well, that's going to go back to in the indecision. It was never really a decision. It's fear, it's doubt, it's worry. It's not knowing, it's the unknown. And this is the way the average individual thinks. This is normal. We have been programmed to think in this way. We've been programmed and conditioned through society. Whenever we find resistance, we stop. Why? Because it's taken us out of our comfort zone. And why does that happen? Because it's the natural state of being. The body naturally wants to protect itself. And it does not want to go beyond what it does not know how to do. So this is normal, and success is not normal. Success is not what the majority of the people see or view through their world. Normally, what the average individual experiences in their world is conformity. To conform, to let go of the dream, to let go of the vision, and to conform what others are doing around them. This is normal. It's normal not to want to go against your own beliefs. And the average individual does not. This is why they stay more or less on their pattern plan. They can go more, but they choose not to do more. And they're not even aware that they've got a program. You may be sitting here looking at this right now, And you didn't even know you were programmed. Why? Because nobody's telling you this. The schools know it. The education system knows it. But the people even teaching in schools don't even know it. But the people that actually built the system know it. They built it on purpose to help people go through society so they can advance. So these tools and this mechanism of deprogramming and reprogramming people, it's in the education system. Why do you think you go for so many years? To learn a new trade. To learn a new way of a new state of being. You go to college so you can discover a self-image. And then you go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, however long it takes you to become that new self-image. You've got to go through the process. And you've got to go through the unlearning and relearning of what? Ideas. You've got to take on new concepts. And you've got to memorize all those concepts until you can step into that new behavior. But you don't get it until you can step in and express a new memory. This is reprogramming. This is in the school systems. But a lot of the people don't even know that. Why is this important? Because it's your whole life. If you're not able to unlearn and relearn what group habit you came into, you stay stuck. Not because you can't do more. You were not programmed. You were not designed to do more. Everybody gets to the extension of what they were programmed to do. Everyone. Because we all came into a body. And because we all came into a body, we came into an environment and the surroundings of the people that raised us. That's the program. And there's going to come points in your life to where you get to the extension of what you know how to do. And when you get into that variance where you're going into the unknown, the average individual is going to stop. Some of you will progress a little further. And the majority of the people always grow a little bit more. We always do. 10%, 15% in our lifetime, that's normal. You go through life, you push a little bit at a time, you push a little bit at a time, you push a little bit at a time, but never to any big consequence. You never do a quantum leap. You never take that annual income and make it a monthly income. The things that I'm saying here are not normal as far as going beyond the normal. The average individual stays within their halo group. What is the halo group? Halo group, what does that mean? What am I saying by that? Well, I always draw this little dot in the center, which means the center of you, your own being. You're the center. And then you have an outer ring that surrounds the center of your own being. Now, this outer ring that surrounds you is your halo group. This is your programming. These are the people, places, plots, and circumstances that surround you. And you're always the center. And everything that's heavier than air gravitates towards its center. So at the beginning of this call, I said this was personal. Personal development was personal. You cannot be forced. It cannot be put into place as far as you've got to want to be better. You've got to want to improve your life. To get into the deep recesses of your consciousness, you've got to want to be more. You have to want to be less of what you are right now. And when you're ready and you're at that point, now you're ready to grow. Now you're ready to see what's been causing all the problems. Now you're ready to see how this outer ring you call life has been designed. It's whenever you get to the extension, you're the center, and you're trying to go through time and you're trying to go past what you know how to do, where you have two choices: to make a decision to move forward or fall back. 97% fall back. Some of them didn't even know there was a program. They get to that invisible barrier and they don't know what and how to do, what to do next, and they just give in. I'm telling you don't have to do that. There's another way, and it's betting on yourself. There's another way, and betting on yourself to get a better understanding of yourself so you can go beyond what you know how to do. Now, that's a process. There's a process to success, and we know how to do it because we've been doing it. We teach it. Not only do we teach it, we are it. And the people that are following this process of unlearning and relearning and understanding the mind are the people that's incomes are going over to past the 7-figure marker. The people that are already in the 7-figure markers are doing even more, and they were stuck. It doesn't matter where you're at. we always get to the extension of what we know how to do. When I say this halo group, this outer ring that surrounds you, it's the house, it's the car, it's the business you work for or own. Everything that has taken form by your direct or indirect observations of creation is your outer ring. And you will never go beyond the outer ring unless you're willing to change your vibration, change the way you think, be willing to go into the unknown. Now here we go back to the decisions and changing them fast and often. They change them so fast and often because they don't know what they want, and they don't believe they can actually acquire every decision they move into. Nobody ever taught this information. When we go to the story of Henry Ford, one of his outstanding qualities is the habit of reaching decisions quickly and definitely and changing them slowly. This quality is so pronounced in Mr. Ford. It was so pronounced to him, they gave him the reputation of being obstinate. It was the quality which prompted Mr. Ford to continue manufacturing the Model T, way beyond its time for a change. But this also proved very profitable for him. His firmness in decision-making yielded a huge fortune. Why? Because he had already predetermined the flow and the cause and effects in the future. When you make decisions and you can see the decision all the way through to its definite end, what you're doing is you're using your imagination to the future to see how it's going to line up, and then you stick to it till you see the decision fulfilled. That's what he did. The habit of deftness of decision assumes a proportion of what? Proportion of its own desires. The habit of deftness of decision. So if you get in the habit of making definite decisions, you can assume the proportion of what you first started. Make a decision, I will acquire an extra $100,000 by the end of the year. Just making the decision that I will acquire the $100,000 puts you right in alignment with what the acquisition of that desired fulfillment. By making a decision, I will acquire or start my own business, and this is what I want to be fulfilled out of it. Just by making the decision and sticking to the decision is going to cause you to start to use your imagination far beyond what you've ever done before. But this is where you get ideas. This is where the plots and the plans in this theory becomes a what? A fact. Because you allowed yourself to fantasize. A lot of people don't allow themselves to fantasize. So your responsibility is to make the decision that you will fantasize something that you truly desire. You will give yourself the what? Opportunity. You will give yourself the opportunity to advance in life. Allowance. Opportunities are all around you, but you have to give yourself the opportunity to allow yourself to see something that you didn't see in yourself before. And if you don't give that allowance to yourself, nobody else will. That also means you don't believe in yourself. So a lot of people take that word fear. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. But fear will clothe itself in so many different forms. Fear is written in your actions. Fear is written in the reasons why you didn't make the choices. Fear was written in failure to accomplish a goal. Fear was written in your ability to make sound decisions. Fear was in the dream fading away. We think that fear doesn't control our behavior, but yet it's clothed in so many different forms, and we miss it. Fear of what others are going to say. That's a big one. How many of you have been afraid to make a choice in life, afraid of what others will think? or afraid what people would say. How many of you are letting your life fade away and not make the decisions because you're not sure what would happen? That's fear. And if we don't recognize it, we miss it, and we miss what's controlling our behavior and even controlling your imagination, controlling your ability to think, controlling your use of time, controlling every aspect of your life. Why? Why do we do this? Because it's normal. We were conditioned, the minute we go outside of what we know how to do, the brain automatically kicks in and says, well, we don't know how to go there. We don't know how to do that. That's normal. You've got a perfectly healthy human brain. The brain was designed to protect itself. So the minute you're trying to go beyond what you know how to do, the brain kicks in, automatically kicks on chemicals to be released in your brain, hormones to be released, and say, whoa, let's hold up a minute and let's review what we're doing. But the average individual does not just take that as an observation. More, they take it to the conclusion of don't do it. Imagine if the child were to begin to walk, and the minute they hurt themselves, they just stopped and just laid there for the rest of their life. You'd think there was something wrong with the child. But yet the child won't do that. The child will get up over and over and over and over and over, even though it meets with failure and it meets with the unknown, and the child meets with the pains of learning, but he keeps getting up over and over and over and over and over again until he achieves. Yet, as an adult, we stop imagining, we stop trying, we give in to what? What we know how to do. We must get back to the child, the mindset of a child, always wanting to be more, have more, achieve more, do more. Know that it's more. To know that you're more. The child knows it's more. He is born knowing that he's more, and he's advancing himself. But yet there gets the time as the child progresses, he's conditioned, he's watching what everyone else is doing. And he says, oh, they just stopped. This is what we do. Well, that's not what you have to do. May have been what you've done in the past. Not what you have to do. The higher part of your true self is expansion and full realization of itself. This is why you always want more. I'm going to play a video here on decision making. And Bob goes into the decision making and how decisions alter the pattern plan. How a decision is a frequency. And everything goes back to energy. Everything goes back to energy is always in a state of change, in a constant state of change. Energy is motion. That's thought in motion. When you can step into the right vibration, when you can get into the right idea of what it is you truly desire, you'll begin to see ideas flash on the screen of your mind. Why? Because you made the decision to go there. And this is the way it works. We're going to get started. Take notes.
I'm going to show you something about decision, and I want you to watch this really carefully, because this comes after years and years of work and years of study, and I'm going to tell you it works. Now, I want you to let those lines represent levels of vibration. Now, just listen. Watch and think. Watch and think. This could be one of the most important ideas you'll ever learn. It's certainly one of the most important I ever learned. There are an infinite number of frequencies. Every frequency is hooked up to the one above and the one below. There is an infinite number. You know what that means? No beginning, no end. Infinite. Levels of vibration are more or less referred to as frequencies. Now we know that these little dillies that we wander around with operate on frequencies. I have a specific frequency. It's mine. There's nobody else's. All the people in the world, all the cell phones, I have one. It's just mine. You have one, it's just yours. If I have yours in here, I can send you a message, won't matter where you are, you'll get it simultaneous with me sending it, because we're on the same frequency. This is a very important point. All science, all theology, all science, every area tell us nothing is created or destroyed. That only postulates the theory of life. There's no such thing as death. You don't have a soul, you are a soul. You moved into the body, you're going to move out of it. Okay? But all and always there ever was. The way to make this, or the necessary ingredients to make this, have always been here. Always been here. This isn't something that a couple of smart kids out of whatever discovered. This has always been here. The way to fly an airplane has always been here. It's the Wright brothers got on that frequency. They didn't get on that frequency by accident. They got on that frequency by design. Now look you think on frequencies. And I'll tell you something else. Thought is one of the most potent forms of energy there is. Thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space. Think about this. Thought energy would make the laser look puny. And you can think. So let these puffy little clouds represent your thoughts. And that's the frequency that you think on. Now that'll work for every one of us. And so the results you're getting are nothing but the manifestation of the thinking that you've been involved in. Because that thinking alters your vibration, it alters how you act, it alters how you attract. Why would we ever think anything we don't want to think? Why would we ever think, well, I don't know if I can do that? What the hell do you mean, if I can do it? You can do anything. We got to get this straight. I think I'll have difficulty. Quit thinking that. Stop it. What are you going to think then? Think it's polar opposite. Now look it. You're getting those results. However, what did we say yesterday? Your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within you. It's right in the core of you. It's the essence of who you are. And that is spirit, pure unadulterated spirit. Spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. Spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. There is no exception to that. It's always. So that's true within you. And that essence, that perfection in you wants to be expressed with and through you. That's why you're continually wanting things. That's why dissatisfaction is such a creative vibration to get in. Get totally pissed off with what you're doing. You're capable of doing so much better than you're doing. Yet Spirit wants to express itself in a greater way through you. So you see, that's where I am, but that's where I want to go. I'm going to go there. However, there's a problem. It's called paradigm. It's called programming, and you got it. Who programmed you? Well, your parents or your guardians, your school teachers, your next door neighbor, the babysitter, and usually came from some ancient ancestor that come down through those people. They got it from someone else. We have no idea where the hell it came from, but you're programmed. You're literally programmed. What are we programmed? We're programmed to let the present results control us. So we say, I'm going to go there. This is important. As soon as I get the money. Really? I'm going to go there as soon as the kids are out of school. So you'll find someone that has a pretty good job, but they don't like the job. They don't like the people they're working for. They don't like the environment. They don't like the culture that they're in. It's not a growth culture. It's just not a nice environment. Yeah, they don't like it at all, and they want to quit. But they're afraid because they're married and they've got a couple of kids. What would he say or what would she say, depending on. They're afraid to quit. They say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Baby, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Really pay attention here. This guy's got a real serious problem. Pretty soon, that decision fades and dies. And then pretty soon, the goal, it also disappears. It's gone. Why? Well, it couldn't possibly happen. And I'm going to show you why it couldn't happen. And if you'll watch this real carefully, you're going to get this intellectually. You don't have it emotionally. You're going to have to work at changing your paradigm. This person's thinking down here on this frequency. Look very carefully. They're down here on this frequency, but what they want is way up here. If they want to get that, they got to get up on that frequency. What they're doing, it's like with an AM station, and they're trying to get FM music. You don't get FM music on an AM station. This is so basic and so misunderstood. Your mind and thoughts must be focused on the same frequency as your goal. Must be. You got to make a committed decision. You're going to have to do it regardless. Doesn't matter whether you have any money. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Doesn't matter what she's going to say. This is your life. You must never let anyone, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, you let no one decide for you. It's your life.
How much time we have here? I'm going to come back 5 minutes, and I want you to really look at this again. We get understanding through repetition. You're going to listen to this video again. You're going to go through it. You're going to notice that you missed several parts of the video, because every time you're thinking and every time you truly think, that means you go into a mind trip. Thinking means to go into the future. Thinking means advanced decision making. Thinking means imagining. So every time you get something that grabs your attention, you get emotionally charged with, you go into a thought trip. That's thinking. Now, how often do you really do that to a definite end? Very rare, because nobody really taught you how to use the mind. I'm going to say that again. How many times do you truly think? That means your mind goes into the imagination because you're thinking of an idea and there's a place. But how many times is that really directed to a definite end in your future? Rare. They're just little ideas that you play with all day long. Your responsibility is to go into the imagination and create the whole new model. The model on the screen in your mind. Now, that takes will and that takes focus. And you weren't trained to do that yet. And then you've got to be able to design this model in your vision and then take a pen and paper and write it down. And then you're supposed to take this drawn out plan that was written down in stone on your page. You're going to go and you're going to plan it out to a definite end throughout your week, throughout your day. Now, these are things that are not common. And success is not common. I'm going to go back on this video. Look and listen on purpose.
Think about this. Thought energy would make the laser look puny. And you can think. So let these puffy little clouds represent your thoughts. And that's the frequency that you think on. Now, that'll work for every one of us. And so the results you're getting are nothing but the manifestation of the thinking that you've been involved in. Because that thinking alters your vibration. It alters how you act. It alters how...
Now, right here again, we're talking about the thinking. Everything written in your halo group, in your group culture, your life, your design, the car, the house, the relationships you have, everything that you see outside yourself, it has come to pass because of the prior way of thinking. Preconditioned way of thoughts, habitual thoughts become habitual behaviors. For long, you're stuck.
Why would we ever think anything we don't want to think? Why would we ever think, well, I don't know if I can do that? What the hell do you mean, if I can do it? You can do anything. We've got to get this straight. I think I'll have difficulty. Quit thinking that. Stop it. What are you going to think then? Think it's polar opposite. Now look it. You're getting those results. However, what did we say yesterday? Your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within you. It's right in the core of you. It's the essence of who you are. And that is spirit, pure unadulterated spirit. Spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. Spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. There is no exception to that. It's always. So that's true within you. And that essence, that perfection in you wants to be expressed with and through you. That's why you're continually wanting things. That's why dissatisfaction is such a creative vibration to get in. Get totally pissed off with what you're doing.
Now here again, we're going into dissatisfaction, the creative state, creative imagination. If you look around the world, everything that you see was created in the imagination of man. Who brought the ideas to the man? What altered his state of being to look up? What caused the man to go beyond what he knows how to do? His imagination. Now, this creative state is in all men, all women, all children. They have the creative ability to think stuff into form. You have an idea and say, "Oh, this is just nonsense." Go look at everything written in reality around you. All of that is not nonsense. You have a phone, not nonsense. You have computers, not nonsense. You have a home, not nonsense. You have everything that was made by human imagination. That's not nonsense. That's creation. Now, why is it that some people have the ability to do that and others don't? We all have it. We don't express it. If you were to take this higher side of our personality and take it away from man, we would regress thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Why? Because there would be no consciousness to produce everything that you see today. You'd be living with the animals. But yet, there's something about us that we could not conform to living in the animal kingdom. We're the only ones that could not live in our nature. So therefore, we have built our own. This mind that we're discussing right now, right here, we're talking about frequencies and vibration. We have to be willing and able to tune in. Into what? What do you want? That was the key. Tune into what? How many people are lost? They're lost because they didn't know that they had the ability to tune in. And then they get to the point to tune into what? Well, what life was wanting was the introduction of the personal factor. Tune into what? What do you want? I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? You've never asked yourself, what do I truly want? Without limitations. What would life really, would I really want my life to look? What is it that I truly want? You got to go inside again. And nobody can take you where you want to go other than yourself.
Of doing so much better than you're doing. Yet Spirit wants to express itself in a greater way through you. So you see, that's where I am, but that's where I want to go. I'm going to go there. However, there's a problem. It's called paradigm. It's called programming. And you got it. Who programmed you? Well, your parents or your guardians, your school teachers, your next door neighbor, the babysitter. And usually came from some ancient ancestor that come down through those people. They got it from someone else. We have no idea where the hell it came from. But you're programmed. You're literally programmed. Where are we programmed? We're programmed to let the present results control us. So we say,
We're programmed to let the present results control us. Nobody ever taught us about paradigms and programming. Paradigm is what you already habitually do. A paradigm is a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control over you, over your behavior. And almost all behavior is habitual. So right now you have a group habit. That's what you call your habitat, your home. What do you think has built your home? Remember at the beginning I said there's a center and there's an outer ring? You've habitually been programmed to do what you're habitually doing. You have a habitat right now. You have an expression of your home, of your family, and everybody inside there, and they do the same thing. Why? Because they're programmed by you, or you're programmed by them. When you want to go beyond this, you're stepping out of the unknown. Group habit, accident, they all live more or less the same. Habitual behaviors, where did they come from? Now, we already have a way of doing things. You've got to get out of the habit of being yourself. And the self is what has taken you where you're at today. So this goes back to the programming. Now, we can alter a habit. How many of you have said, I'm going to go to the gym? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to eat like that. I'm not going to do those things. But then you find yourself doing them automatically without even thinking. That's the program. And then the automatic part where you just automatically do it at those times without even thinking, it's already habitual by nature. Why? Because you're programmed to do those things. So this is what we're talking about whenever we're going into the mind. And what does the mind mean? Well, it's everything. You can never get outside of the mind. And you can never go beyond the mind. Because the mind is regulated by its own thoughts. The only way to go beyond your group habit is through your imagination. You rewind that, you're going to get something else out of it too. The mind is creation. You're just using the wrong ideas. We're just using the wrong ideas. That's it. We want to put great ideas in our mind, positive ideas in our mind. How about a goal into our mind? The minute we put a goal and you lock into a goal in your mind, the same mind will quickly and automatically start paving the way to a new path. That's beautiful. Your mind will quickly and automatically begin to pave the way. You'll start to get ideas. Why? Because you consented and you made a decision to go there. Let's look at this.
This is important. As soon as I get the money. Really? I'm going to go there as soon as the kids are out of school. So you'll find someone that has a pretty good job, but they don't like the job. They don't like the people they're working for. They don't like the environment. They don't like the culture that they're in. It's not a growth culture. It's just not a nice environment. Yeah, they don't like it at all, and they want to quit. But they're afraid because they're married and they've got a couple of kids. What would he say or what would she say, depending on. They're afraid to quit. They say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Baby, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Really pay attention here. This guy's got a real serious problem. Pretty soon, that decision fades and dies. And then pretty soon, the goal, it also disappears. It's gone. Why? Well, it couldn't possibly happen. And I'm going to show you why it couldn't happen. And if you'll watch this real carefully, you're going to get this intellectually. You don't have it emotionally. You're going to have to work at changing your paradigm. This person's thinking down here on this frequency. Look very carefully. They're down here on this frequency, but what they want is way up here. If they want to get that, they got to get up on that frequency. What they're doing, it's like with an FM, AM station, and they're trying to get FM music. You don't get FM music on an AM station. this is so basic and so misunderstood. Your mind and thoughts must be focused on the same frequency as your goal. Must be.
Now here we come to your mind, your thoughts must be in alignment with the actions, the body. How many times have you had an idea? So then your thought moves into your mind. You pluck an idea from where? From your imagination, from the infinite intelligence. You get an idea, and it goes into the mind. When it's gone, when it has entered into the mind, it's starting to connect with energy. Your energy. Now it's got to connect into your body. And as soon as you start to feel it, this is where the average individual will just kick the idea out because they don't believe that they can do it. The mind is power. It's a powerhouse. But if you reject it, your dreams and your visions will fade away. And so many people do this all day long. And because they can't do more, they reject the perfection that's already there. They're afraid. The money will be there when it needs to be there. That's not true. I don't believe that. Try it. Try it. You don't need the money until you made the decision that you were going to do what you said you were going to do. I practice this over and over and over again. I started my first company with no money. I've started several companies with no money just to prove that it can be done. And I've got recordings of it to prove that this can be done. It all starts with an idea. Accident I'm doing what I'm doing? No. We're giving live documentation of what we're doing. Why? Because people normally have to what? See to believe. That's not true faith. Seeing is believing, but seeing with the eye of creation, that means your imagination. That's faith. Everything we're doing it on purpose to help people become more aware of themselves, their higher selves. Earlier I said, who are you? You're perfect. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. And you're not the body. You have a body. So that means you are a soul living in a body. And that means you came into a body as well as you will move out of a body. So the only thing that you have right now is your ability to experience yourself outside of yourself. Majority of you didn't know that that was happening. This whole time, you've been experiencing yourself outside of yourself. You said, I want to get closer to spirit. I want to get closer to spirit. I want to be more spiritual. You were always spirit. You're using the wrong ideas. You're using the wrong ideas. Your spirit is perfect. The ideas that you're using are imperfect. And that's why you're getting the results that you're getting. The majority of people who fail to accumulate money sufficient for their needs are generally easily influenced by the opinions of others. They permit the newspaper and the gossiping neighbors to do their thinking for them. That's why they get what they have. I'll never forget this. I walked around my neighborhood, my environment, the culture that I was raised in, and I said, my God, I don't want to have what they have. I would look and I would understand they're all doing more or less the same things. Yet they don't change what they're doing. Why? And then I would go look at a different group of mindsets. Well, what are they doing different that gets them different results? And I would look and I would notice that there's another group and they all more or less get the same results too. I said, my God, what's going on here? I'm looking at, there's something going on deep in the recesses of those people's minds. And then I would go look at the other group where people were more definedly rich, richer results, richer in life, richer in beauty, richer in their capacity to express that, what they wanted to express in life. And I said, Well, that's another group too. I want to get what they have. I like what I saw, and what I saw I liked, that they were able to express themselves far beyond what the other groups were. And I noticed that was a group too, but it was a much smaller group. I said, my God, what's happening? Why is it we've got this mass group and they all more or less think the same, do the same, get the same results? It must be because they're thinking in a certain way. They must be thinking in a certain way. Went to the next group, a little bit smaller. And they're all thinking, doing things in a certain way. Let her look around, my God. Something about the thinking substance that they're using. There must be something about the thinking substance that they're using. Thinking substance. Start to go back to, well, that thinking substance is spirit informed. If spirit is informed and always expressing itself outside of itself, what must they be thinking? That's the antidote. The antidote was the way they're thinking. Then I went to the much smaller group that was really expressing lots of prosperity and abundance. I said, where was God in all these people? God was in all groups. Why is it that some are destined for so much less and very few destined for so much more? I said, where is it? It's in the thinking. Oh my God. The substance is in the midst of the way they think. They need to understand the way they think. I no longer wanted their results. I had to change the way I was thinking. The wealthy are producing wealth because they're expressing ideas that are wealthy. The mid groups are evaluating and seeing the midlife because they're experiencing and releasing mid-group ideas. The impoverished group are not impoverished because they can't do more, because they keep thinking impoverished to express the impoverished behaviors. And it all went back to just thinking. I gave you guys quite a bit of insight, a lot of information, a lot to take in, but bet on you. I bet on me. And I'm no different than you. Come take a look at our classes, see what we're doing. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for listening. If you can really, really get to the truth of this, perfection's in you. It always was. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for our live streaming. Thank you, Zach. And we'll be seeing you guys next week.